This is like currently the most up-to-date British warships. You can call them the super dreadnoughts of the. I think this is like one of the warships. So you can see these. It had its main armament were these four pairs of uh, 80 or 15-inch guns. So nothing in the German fleet is even close to this firepower per ship.
Considered small firepower by World War II. It's funny to say. It's like these large
It's
15-inch guns.
crazy,
Yeah.
but but at this time they are like I guess you could call them the Yamato equivalent, let's say.
Super Dreadnought's
This
not,
Queen
yeah, Super
Elizabeth.
Dreadnought's pretty good.
Yeah, so the problem was, in the meantime, they were commanded by an Admiral Evan Thomas. You have just this one picture. Greg, do you want to talk about a little bit about Admiral Thomas because he is the commander of this very vital force?
Yeah, honestly, I've listened and read a bit about the Battle of Jutland, but it was only when you brought this up recently that I'd even heard this guy's name, Admiral Hugh Thomas Evans. He had a distinguished career in the Royal Navy leading up, of course, to the battle we're talking about. He was born in 1865. He would join the Royal Navy in 1879, and he rapidly rose through the ranks due to apparently people said he was very dedicated and he showed a lot of skill right at the start. He gained a lot of valuable on-hand experience in various capacities, serving on quite a few different ships, including the HMS Bachant, and he learned the essentials of naval operations while at sea. He was recognized for having leadership skills and quite good at some tactical skills as well during his early positions. He would also be serving aboard the HMS Dreadnought and later the HMS Warrior, both pretty iconic ships. He played a pivotal role in the development of naval tactics at this time, especially in battleship technologies as they were evolving rapidly at the turn of the century. By the early 1900s, he had reached the rank of captain and he was involved in some notable exercises that would shape their naval doctrines going forward. In 1912, he was appointed the commander of the first battle squadron of the Grand Fleet, which would be a critical role because it placed him at the forefront of naval operations and his reputation would just keep growing from there. And he would eventually be promoted to Rear Admiral. So this is, at the cusp of the Battle of Jutland, where by that point he was recognized for his ability to lead large-scale naval forces effectively. So this would set him for the role that he's going to be playing now.
Yeah, and I think so. The issue was, if we go back to the map that as you can see, Scapa Flow did house a good chunk of the fleet, but not all of it. There was the British battlecruiser division under Admiral David Beatty. Greg, maybe we can talk about him just momentarily.
Mm.
I'll just maybe talk about this conflict before we can talk about Beatty, who were based in the 4th of Firth over here. Now, the problem was Jellicoe wanted all the dreadnoughts to be with him and all battle cruisers, and the fifth battle division was the fifth battle squadron, sorry, was a contention point. Battle cruisers, by nature, trade away armor for increased speed. So at the Battle of Jutland, if you see most of the battleships between both the British and German navies, like just the dreadnoughts, right? I'm not talking about the German free dreadnoughts. They have a max cruising speed of about 20 to 21 knots. Battle cruisers, on the other hand, can have a speed from about 25 to 28 knots. Now, the Queen Elizabeth class of what Admiral Tom has, they can cruise at 24 knots, so significantly faster than any battleship, and just about can keep up with a battle cruiser squadron. So BT is like, you should give this to me because I have the fast ships. I can move fast, I can hit hard. And Jellicoe is not too keen. And BT then makes a case that, the gunnery practice ranges that I have at the 4th of Firth over here in my naval bases, they're pretty shit. My crews are lacking in gunnery training. So can I keep them for, so like they kind of reached a compromise where a couple of battle cruisers at any given time of BT would be transferred to Jellicoe's main battle group, where they can train at the better ranges. And once they are trained, they will return to BT's command, and the other battle cruisers will go up to get trained. And until they're all trained, the fifth battle squadron is going to stay with him. Craig, maybe we could just talk a little bit about Vice Admiral BT,
Mhm.
because his decisions are going to play a pretty big role.
Yeah. So Admiral of the Admiral of the Fleet David Richard Beatty, the first Earl of Beatty, was a prominent British naval officer. He was known for his leadership skills prior to World War One. He was born January the 17th of 1871. He's a bit younger than the rest. He joined the Royal Navy in 1884, quite early, and quickly established a reputation for bravery and rapid advancement. He served aboard various ships, including the HMS Devonshire, the HMS Queen of Mary, and he would demonstrate exceptional gunnery skills, and he was notably quite aggressive in his approach to naval tactics. By 1914, he held command of, as you're saying, the battlecruiser fleet, and he gained quite a bit of fame for his decisive actions during the early stages of World War One, particularly during the Battle of Helgoland, Helgoland Blight, and he led, a successful attack against German forces here and there. His charisma and his bold tactics, earned him a lot of respect in the Navy, and he would be promoted to vice admiral. Prior to the Battle of Jutland, he was controlling one of the most pivotal fleets going forward, and as you had mentioned, he was emphasizing speed and firepower. He was given the task of engaging the German high seas fleet whenever possible, and he was given quite a lot of room to do so because they saw his strengths as being quite aggressive, a little bit bold, to say. But he is going to butt heads with Jellicoe, and I don't want to give away too much of what's going to happen,
The
but
irony was, at this point, he is second in command of the Royal Navy, you could say.
he's in a they're butting heads together, and it's actually it's not good for operations. And it's I mean, if you even know his name, you know that he's going to be the guy who kind of messed up a little bit at
B BT.
yeah, at Jutland.
I think I'll just elaborate a little bit about Jellicoe and him, because Jellicoe did not want to give him more ships, because he's like, this guy has way more firepower. His aggression is going to, want him to seek an action, and he's just going to put catastrophic losses on us because of that. And it's interesting to note, Admiral Evans and Admiral Jellicoe, they are proteges of Jackie Fisher. BT is not. So there's also like that kind of rivalry that could be at play. And as I said, Jellicoe is very procedural and traditional in his outlook. And he has that particular style that is more doctrinal to how the Royal Navy would operate and communicate with each other. Whereas BT is, as you said, Greg, he's very aggressive, and he does not always fully follow the procedure. And that's actually going to cause some confusion with Admiral Thomas, I would say. Because one of the key things is these guys don't communicate that well to their subordinates. So at the start of Jutland, as we know, Admiral Hugh Gavin Thomas's forces are, part of BT's fleet, you could say. And the crazy thing is, in the 10 days before the Battle of Jutland even takes place, they did not meet even once. Like Admiral Tom, and because of this, Thomas does not know. Hugh Gavin Thomas does not know BT's style. He doesn't understand the different quirks or nuances in his command style. He, as a protege of Jackie Fisher himself, he's kind of going to follow that line, and he's more with Jellicoe, right? Like in the way. Now, one of the key things is the flags of orders. So a lot of ships have a mast. Let me just see if one of the pictures have it. Usually you'll have like on the mast over here several flags that are raised. which will be in different sequences and colors to communicate the orders, like, turn to port, turn to starboard, make this heading, etc. Now, the Royal Navy tradition at this time is the flags have to go up, be red, but only when the flag is taken down, right? After that order has been seen, only then you are to execute said order. BT, on the other hand, with his aggression, he is also decisive. So, as we will discuss, he's going to make quite a lot of changes in the way he's going to engage and all. But because he's not communicated this nuance, his battle cruiser captains know this. They will follow his lead. But Thomas doesn't know this. So he's like, okay, he loses precious minutes waiting for the flags to be lowered, because that's when he knows he has to follow that particular order. So this is going to be there. Now, as I mentioned a bit earlier at the start of this entire triad when Admiral Scheer took over, the British also wanted to engage with the German fleet, but they did not want to engage them at their home waters because of that giant protective minefield. So some ideas they needed to they wanted to draw them out away so that where they believe that they can engage them and defeat them with their superior ships and seamanship. Okay, because the Royal Navy at this time, they still had that Trafalgar effect, you could call it. They did not really like the blockade strategy and slow strangulation of Germany, which was, well, working. They're like, no, the reason Nelson won supremacy for us for like the previous 110 years was because he decided that he needs to charge at the enemy. So there's that tradition and all that they really are getting to. And at this stage of the war, even conservative commanders like Jellicoe want a decisive engagement. So it's not like just aggressive commanders like BT who wanted. It's even like conservative commander like Jellicoe that also need to do it. Now, the problem was Jellicoe vetoed a lot of ideas that were pressed forward. There were like some attacks, like to use some pre-dreadnoughts as suicide ships, similar to what was proposed for Gallipoli, or mass destroyer attacks.